Caitlyn Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm a fan.
Angel Reese, right?
Yeah.
They're going back and forth.
I'm a fan of both.
And Jamil Hill says by the time Angel Reese is done, she's going to be the Michael Jordan of WNBA.
She said about Angel Reese?
She said Angel Reese, by the time she retires, can you pull up this quote? She said, by the time she retires, she will be the MJ.
StephenASmith just slammed the brakes on Angel Reese's latest ego-driven moment like it was a chaotic reality TV meltdown. After Reese pulled what many online are calling the ultimate Caitlyn Clark-style stunt, the internet exploded with reactions of, oh no, she didn't. What started as another piece of basketball drama quickly turned into a full-blown media firestorm. If you thought the biggest battles happened on the court, think again, because Stephen A. turned his microphone into a flamethrower, and Reese suddenly found herself at the center of a scorching debate. The real question is, what exactly did she do to spark this chaos? Trust me, the story only gets wilder from here. Fire basketball.
It's not about black and white. It's about that white player and that black player. Why? Because of the history that they had before they came to the WNBA. You see, it was all instigated. If Angel Reese was never in Caitlyn Clark's face, taunting her the way that she did when they mimicking what Caitlyn Clark was doing to numerous opponents en route to the Final Four, and then Angel Reese and LSU bust their living you-know-what at that particular moment in time, and Angel Reese was in her face chirping at her the way that she did, it would have never gotten to this point.
We have a lot of folks that have come to the defense of numerous WNBA players because they were pointing out, like, this has been going on before long and people are not hating on her. It's not about hating on her. It's that you feel she is getting a level of attention that you deserved and you warranted long before she ever came along.
4 points. That's it, just 4. That was the entire stat line, and the internet couldn't believe it. Angel Reese managed to finish the game with only 4 points, almost like she was on some kind of scoring diet, while many fans expected a breakout performance. The moment became even more surprising because it happened during the matchup between the ChicagoSky and the Indiana Fever, a game where Caitlyn Clark wasn't even playing. Clark was stuck on the bench, wrapped up and recovering, casually watching the action unfold instead of dominating it on the court. With her biggest rival out of the lineup, many thought Reese would take control of the game and make a statement. Instead, the opportunity slipped by, leaving fans stunned that she couldn't capitalize on the moment. Basketball fire.
New season tipped off this weekend with several marquee matchups on the slate. Most fans were excited to see Caitlyn Clark and Indiana Fever take on Angel Reese and the ChicagoSky. The game was a blowout as the Fever beat down Chicago 93-58 with Clark's triple-double leading the way. But the biggest headline coming out of the game on Saturday is the investigation the WNBA is conducting into allegations of hateful fan comments directed at Angel Reese. It happened after this play when Clark slapped at the ball after Reese grabbed an offensive rebound.
I mean, how do you walk into a game where the main attraction is literally sitting on the sidelines, icing her ankle, and somehow decide this is the night to deliver the worst performance of your career? In a matchup between the ChicagoSky and the Indiana Fever, all eyes were already on Caitlyn Clark, even though she wasn't playing and was just watching from the bench while recovering. That should have been the perfect opportunity for Angel Reese to take over the spotlight and dominate the game. Instead, the performance went the opposite direction. While Clark was focused on healing and supporting her team from the sideline, Reese ended the night with a stat line so quiet that fans online couldn't stop talking about it. Just 4 points. For many critics, that number didn't feel like a normal off night. It felt like a moment that highlighted the growing pressure and expectations surrounding her whenever she's compared to Clark. Basketball fire.
I was calling it from day one. You got people that are resentful towards her. But it's really not about her, guys. It's about what she represents. Before she ever came along, there were a lot of outstanding basketball players who happened to be black females that was doing their thing on the WNBA level. And they never got this kind of shine.
Sure, she still grabbed her favorite stat, rebounds. Angel Reese finished the night with 12 boards, and you could tell that's the category she lives for. The The way she attacks rebounds, you'd think each one came with a coupon for free Chick-fil-A. The way she snatches them like her career depends on it, which, after a performance like that, it just might. If rebounds were gold bars, she'd be rolling in wealth. But when it comes to points, buckets, and actual offense, the production just wasn't there. While critics acknowledged the hustle on the glass, they couldn't ignore that the scoring column stayed almost empty. To many fans watching the matchup between the ChicagoSky and the Indiana Fever, it felt like the rebounding numbers were the only thing keeping the stat line from looking completely silent. Basketball.
Second of it. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, it's not a rivalry. Not when you lose about 35 points on opening.
That's true.
It's not rivalry. Indiana Fever's on a different level than the ChicagoSky. Let's get that out the way. Secondly, as much as we love Angel Reese because she is special, she's not Caitlyn Clark as a player. Caitlyn Clark is on a different level. We just have to own that. Angel Reese can rebound the basketball. She's a damn good player. She's got a bright future in the WNBA, but Caitlyn Clark is next level.
Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark is operating on a completely different level. It's the kind of situation where even the commentators start reaching for polite explanations, saying things like, well, she's contributing in other ways. Other ways? Like what, morale? Because at times it looked like Angel Reese spent the night running cardio drills rather than controlling the game. There was even a moment when the camera caught her staring off into the distance, like she might be considering a second career in reality television. The swagger that once defined her, the perfect lashes, the immaculate nails, the untouchable attitude, just didn't match the stat line this time. What was supposed to be the Bayou Barbie domination suddenly felt more like a frustrating off night under the bright lights of the WNBA. Meanwhile, Clark continues to draw constant defensive attention, often getting double-teamed the moment she crosses half court, the way teams used to swarm Stephen Curry. Even with that pressure, she still finds ways to impact the game, dropping assists, knocking down deep threes when she gets a sliver of space, and keeping the offense flowing. That contrast is exactly why the rivalry between players like Clark and Reese keeps dominating conversations around the Women's National Basketball Association right now. Basketball fire.
Elaborate a little bit more on that in just a second, but before I do that, I want to ask you your thoughts about apparently some racial animus that was thrown in the direction of Angel Reese. The ChicagoSky have gotten involved, talking about they're going to protect their players at all costs. The WNBA has issued a statement saying it abhors and discourages hate of any kind, etc., etc. Your thoughts about it? Here's the WNBA statement. The WNBA strongly condemns racism, hate, and discrimination in all forms. They have no place in our league or in society. We are aware of the allegations and are looking into the matter. Your thoughts about that element of all of this, where you believe it emanates from, and do you think it will ever subside?
Oh man, the latter part of that, Stephen A, is quite the thing to think on. I think when you go back to the impetus of the rivalry that we have between Caitlyn and Angel Reese, I remember funny clips on the internet.
Angel Reese had the spotlight and the opportunity to dominate, but the performance just didn't match the moment. Despite grabbing 12 rebounds with her usual intensity, the lack of scoring became the real headline, leaving critics questioning the overall impact of the stat line. In the Women's National Basketball Association, hustle on the boards matters, but teams still need points and offensive production, and that's where the night fell short. With constant comparisons to Caitlyn Clark, who often draws heavy defensive attention yet still finds ways to influence games, the pressure on Reese only grows whenever her scoring disappears. What was supposed to be a breakout season suddenly feels like a proving ground, where every game becomes another test of whether she can turn effort and rebounds into the kind of all-around performance expected from a rising star. Basketball fire.
Caitlyn Clark's or Angel Reese's popularity in large part is attributed to her behavior towards Caitlyn Clark, because when Caitlyn Clark was busy taunting opponents a couple of years back before LSU smacked Iowa around in the national championship game or so, it was Angel Reese that was clapping back at Caitlyn Clark once it was Caitlyn Clark's turn to have her comeuppance. And that's what made Angel Reese famous. Now, Angel Reese experienced vitriol thereafter. It was tough for her to deal with, as she articulated, and that's unfortunate because we got some no-good-ass people in it.
And don't get it twisted. People genuinely wanted Angel Reese to succeed. She's a walking headline, a rivalry magnet, and the kind of personality that generates attention the Women's National Basketball Association thrives on. But all the hype, swagger, and spotlight start to fade if the scoreboard doesn't move, and 4 points simply isn't the kind of production fans expect from a player with her profile. As the game between the ChicagoSky and the Indiana Fever unfolded, social media lit up with reactions, some shocked, some critical, and even loyal supporters admitting the performance looked rough. The contrast only becomes sharper because of the constant comparisons to Caitlyn Clark, whose presence in the league keeps the spotlight intense even when she's not playing. With Clark still dominating conversations while recovering, Reese suddenly finds herself under even more scrutiny as fans and analysts debate whether this is just a temporary slump or a sign she still has major adjustments to make at the professional level. Basketball fire.
Only women that get this. I'm tired of it. Like, here's my thing, you guys. What else? Who are these girls? Who are these girls that are hating on Caitlyn Clark? Are you just combing through Twitter? What else are these women supposed to do? Fawn over her? Fangirl over her? Bend the fucking knee? Kiss the ring? Like, what do you want from them? We cannot, every time the girl plays a game, she got 40 games, guys. She got 35 more games. We are not every single game gonna revisit and retread this same tired ass rhetoric that all these girls are hating on her, and they need to be thankful. They have been.
The reality is that teams in the Women's National Basketball Association want more than hype. They want production, leadership, and players who show up when the lights are brightest. For Angel Reese, the expectations were sky high coming out of college, but early struggles can quickly turn the spotlight into pressure when the stat line doesn't match the reputation. College dominance at Louisiana State University built her brand, yet the pro level demands consistent scoring, efficiency, and all-around impact every night. Performances like the recent one, where the scoring column stayed unusually quiet, only fueled a conversation among analysts and personalities like StephenASmith, who are never shy about calling out what they see on the box score. No one expects 40 points every night, but fans and teams still look for double-digit scoring, offensive rhythm, and visible growth. Right now, every game becomes another opportunity for Reese to answer the critics and prove she can translate her energy, rebounding, and personality into the kind of balanced production that secures a long-term place in the league. Basketball fire.
Comes along, and she wreaks havoc. She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting. 4th in the league, her rookie year.
Wow.
Outstanding. She's like Steph Curry. She can pull up from anywhere. You understand? She has that kind of capability. Didn't win a national championship. Lost to LSU one year. We lost to South Carolina another year. But she's outstanding and clearly worthy of being the number 1 overall pick. And what I was saying to everybody is ride the wave. Rising tide lifts all boats.
Right now, Angel Reese is staring at a crossroads. Either she rebounds, literally and figuratively, or risks becoming the kind of what could have been story that analysts talk about for years. The spotlight is still there, but it's starting to shift as expectations rise in the Women's National Basketball Association. Meanwhile, Tyler Marsh has been trying different tactical looks, moving Reese around the floor like a chess piece, sometimes in the paint, sometimes stretching the floor, sometimes experimenting with lineups that seem designed to unlock her strengths. But strategy alone can't erase the reality that production has to follow the opportunity. Whether she's positioned as a traditional power forward or pushed into a more flexible role, the results still come down to scoring, efficiency, and overall impact for the ChicagoSky. If those numbers start rising, the narrative flips instantly. If they don't, the questions only get louder. For Reese, the moment isn't about schemes or rotations. It's about turning potential into performances that keep her firmly in the conversation rather than drifting out of the spotlight. Basketball fire.
She balled at Iowa in college. She's balled since she's been in the NBA. She came into the league last year with no break whatsoever between the college game and the pro game and did her thing. Ended up as an all-star, ended up being 4th in the league in MVP voting, was the clear winner for Rookie of the Year. No competition whatsoever in that regard when it was really all said and done. We know what she brings to the table.
Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark has been sidelined with an injury, yet somehow remains the center of attention in the Women's National Basketball Association. Even at less than 100%, she continues to impact games with scoring, assists, and playmaking that make it clear why fans and analysts alike focus on her. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is struggling to find rhythm, with moments where the ball lands in her hands met with collective groans from the crowd, like watching someone repeatedly fail to unlock a phone. The ChicagoSky coaching staff, led by Tyler Marsh, has been shuffling Reese around the floor mid-season, testing different positions and roles in hopes of sparking production, but the constant movement signals a lack of trust in her ability to execute the fundamentals. The contrast couldn't be starker. Clark could return fully rested, fueled, and still dominate, while Reese is left scrambling to translate potential into tangible results before the spotlight moves on. Basketball fire.
Actually feel bad for Angel Reese at this point, and it has nothing to do with like how she's handled herself or anything. It's just simply Caitlyn Clark is so much better than Angel Reese at basketball that it doesn't feel fair.
Yeah, I think Angel Reese is struggling with the fact that Caitlyn Clark is better at her best thing than she is.
She's better at everything.
And
she did a triple-double. She's tied for the third most triple-doubles in WNBA history, and she's played 50 games.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is. Angel Reese is underperforming. She's not adjusting, not developing, and not contributing in ways that truly impact the game. Every minute she stays on the court while Caitlyn Clark heals only sharpens the comparison. When Clark returns, she won't settle for mediocrity. She'll remind everyone why her jersey sales are breaking records while Reese's box scores look like last year's clearance bin. The Women's National Basketball Association doesn't need a rebound queen with toddler-level scoring. It needs leaders, playmakers, game changers. Right now, Reese is delivering vibes, not victories. The ChicagoSky can't thrive until they confront the angel-sized elephant in the room. You can't build a winning team around someone whose most consistent stat is attitude. The hype was real, media darling, nil queen, Bayou Barbie, but in the big leagues, the glitter is peeling. For points and a highlight reel of missed layups don't scream generational talent. They scream, hey, remember me from call.
It comes with the crown.
I got to push back on you a little bit.
Okay.
I think you're being a little bit too PC. Let's call it what it is. I am not trying to say that she should be criticized or she is wrong. What I'm saying is by pulling it down, clearly you felt there was something wrong with it. Now, yes, you are 22. Yes, you are young. And there's a lot of things that we didn't want people to know about when we were her age. Fair enough, especially me, okay? Because I'm 30 plus years removed from that age. I got that part. There was no social media then or whatever. But here's my point to you. She knows this social media. She is not dumb. She's quite a brilliant.
Even the locker room vibes have to be tense. Teammates are grinding it out, putting in work on the court, while Angel Reese posts pregame selfies and racks up minutes with 12 rebounds that lead nowhere. Leadership can't be faked with Instagram filters. The court only cares about production, effort, and impact, and that's where Reese is falling short. Imagine being a young player on the ChicagoSky, hustling in practice, barely seeing the floor, while Reese burns through playing time like Monopoly money. The front office has to be watching this like a reality show gone off script, wondering if they overcommit to someone whose highlight reel peaked on social media. Meanwhile, Tyler Marsh is scrambling to find solutions, shifting roles and rotations in hopes of sparking results, but at some point, potential alone isn't enough. If Reese doesn't turn production around fast, the Sky will have no choice but to prioritize players who consistently deliver. In a league this competitive, there's no time for redemption arcs that never materialize. Basketball fire.
Jackie Robinson of the WNBA will be Caitlyn Clark. If she stays healthy, there's a group of them that would hope for her to be out. But
why do you say she's going to be the Jackie Robinson of the WNBA?
Well,
it's not like she's the first white girl.
She's not the first white girl, but she's the first white superstar at the levels where she's scoring these, the threes she's shooting. She's like a Steph Curry. She's the first actual superstar that people care. When's the last time we watched like college basketball? If I told you, tell me the greatest college basketball female basketball players last 30 years, and you watch, I know her. She's our meet. But you look at some of these names, you see some of these people on how they do.
And let's not forget the fans. They were sold the dream. Angel Reese versus Caitlyn Clark will be tragic. Exhibit A and how hype doesn't always translate into production. For the ChicagoSky to improve, hard choices might be necessary. The Angel Reese experiment isn't working, not until she finds her game, and fast. Otherwise, she risks going from overrated to irrelevant before the season even hits full stride. Basketball fire.